Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Greeting from Jack's Beach. Sitting in the living room. And this evening, we're going to get back into the children's book of heroes. We're going to do the Sphynx. Let me get some light on here. And here's I didn't read this beforehand. I always thought that the Sphynx was this cat thing over in the desert. Giant, building. Looks like a cat called the Sphynx. But let's find out together. It says the Sphynx, this famous Greek myth, reminds us that heroes use their brains. Need to make sure my voice gets through this. I've been going into the ocean the last few days, and I go in, and then I start sneezing a lot, and I thought, going in the ocean is making me sneeze. But that's a proctor hop. Logical that's easy for me to say. That's a proctor hawk. Logical fallacy. Just because every time you go in the ocean, afterwards you sneeze, doesn't mean that going into the ocean is causing you to sneeze. It's the beginning of hay fever season. And hay fever season this year must be really bad. It just happened to be that the first time I went in the ocean, I got out, and that's when I started sneezing. So I figured it out, because it's like, well, there's no way that the ocean is causing this to happen. But I digress. It happened in times past that the inhabitants of Thebes were plagued by a very troublesome beast called the Sphynx. This beast had the face of a woman, but the claws of a lion and the wings of an eagle. It lay crouched on top of a rock, halting all travelers who passed by and posing a riddle. Those who answered it could pass safely, but those who failed were killed. And no one had succeeded in solving the riddle. I bet somebody comes along that solves the riddle. I'm just saying. One day, a traveler named Oedipus. Yeah, this is Oedipus Rex. Oedipus. I don't want to get too far into it. We'll probably talk about Oedipus, but it will be for another day when I'm doing things like plays, not for children, for adults. One day, a traveler named Oedipus came to the seven-gated Thebes, where he found all the people in deep distress and mourning because of the terrible monster. Oedipus stood in the marketplace and talked with the citizens. "What is this famous riddle that none can solve?" he asked. Yeah, this is all coming back now because I've read Oedipus the King by, I think it's like Theophiles or anyway. No one can say, they answered, for he who would solve the riddle must go up alone to the rock where the monster sits. There it chants the riddle, and if he cannot answer, it tears him limb from limb. And if none go up to try the riddle, the monster swoops down on the city and carries off its victims. Our wisest and bravest have gone up, and our eyes have seen them no more. Now there is no one left courageous enough to face the terrible beast. And I believe that Oedipus is on his way back home. He doesn't live in Thebes. He lives in Greece someplace, I think. I will go up and face this monster, Oedipus said. It must be a tough riddle indeed if I cannot answer it. Oh, overbold and rash, they cried. Why do you think you can succeed when so many have failed? And just to show you again, here's the Sphynx. Better to try and fail than never to try at all. Yet, where failure is death, surely a man should think twice. Thing is, if you think twice, they're not going to write a story about you like this. A man can die but once, and how better than in trying to save his fellows? They marveled at his answer, and seeing that nothing would turn him from his purpose, they showed him the path to the Sphynx rock. All the people went with him to the edge of the city with their prayers and blessings. At the gate they left him, for he who goes up to face the Sphynx must go alone, and none can stand by to help him. And I don't know who this is yet, but I can show you this. So he's out there, must be making some sort of a sacrifice. He crossed first a river and then a wide plain, where the mountains of the Sphynx stood dark and clear on the other side. Then he prayed, and this is it, this is Pallas Athena. And then he prayed to Pallas Athena, the gray-eyed goddess of wisdom, and she took all fear from his heart. So then we see that he winds up going to where the Sphynx is. Oedipus went boldly up the rock, where the monster sat waiting to spring on its prey. And for all his courage, his heart beat fast as he looked upon it. For at first it appeared like a mighty bird with great wings of bronze and gold. The glancing sunbeams played about the wings, casting a halo of light, and in the midst of the halo, the face shone out pale and beautiful as a star at dawn. But when it saw Oedipus coming near, A greedy fire lit up its eyes, and it put out its cruel claws and lashed its tail from side to side like an angry lion. So this Sphynx thing is pretty emotional, wouldn't you say? Nevertheless, Oedipus spoke steadily. I have come to hear your famous riddle and answer it or die. Foolhardy manling, a dainty morsel the gods have sent this day, with your fair young face and fresh young limbs. And it licked its cruel limbs. And I think I remember what the riddle is that he's got to solve. I think it has something to do with the stages of a man's life. It might be from something else, but it might be this one. Then Oedipus felt his blood boil within him, and he wished to slay it then and there. So these two people don't like each other. Come, tell me your famous riddle, foul fury, that thou art, that I may answer it, and rid the land of this curse. And here, hopefully you can see the whole thing. So he's standing over there and checking it out. And there's the Sphynx. And this is what the monster asked. And it is the riddle that I thought it was. Sorry about this. I'm glad I haven't started sneezing in the middle of this. At dawn, it creeps on 4 legs. At noon, it strides on 2. At sunset and evening, it totters on 3. What is this thing? Never the same, yet not many, but one. It chanted slowly, its eyes gleaming, cruel and cold. Oedipus thought to himself, now or never must my learning and wit stand me in good stead, or in vain have I talked with the wisest men and learned the old secrets of Phoenicia and of Greece. The gods who had given him understanding sent light into his heart, and he boldly answered, what can this creature be? A man. O Sphynx, for a helpless babe at the dawn of life crawls on his hands and feet. So that's on 4. At noontime, he walks erect in the strength of his youth, and at evening, he supports his tottering limbs with a staff, so like a cane, the prop and stay of old age. Have I not guessed the answer to your famous riddle? With a loud cry of despair, and answering him never a word, the great beast sprang up from its seat on the rock and hurled itself over the precipice into the yawning gulf below. So, and here's The last picture. Far away across the plain, the people heard its cry, and they saw the flash of the sun on its brazen wings, like a gleam of lightning in the summer sky. They sent up a great shout of joy to heaven and poured out from every gate onto the open plain. Some raised Oedipus on their shoulders, and with shouts and songs bore him into the city. Then and there, they made him their monarch, for who better to lead than the slayer of the Sphynx and the savior of the city? So Oedipus became king of Thebes, and wisely and well did he rule, and for many a long year the land prospered. And peace out.